Thank you. Jordan, come up here as well. So we have the consortium from Zoom here. My name's John Nelms, everyone. Thank you so much for coming and joining us here. And I am from Austin, although Maddie is right. 41 years ago today, I was born downtown at St. Luke's Hospital in Houston. Houston is my hometown, and that's why I'm wearing the Astros shirt here today as well. I know it's football themed, but I didn't have any football shirts. You, however, have a Omnisport shirt on, attending the University of Texas, a new SEC school, part of the SEC West, just like my beloved Texas A&M, where I guess I could have worn a A&M shirt here today, except it doesn't fit me from college because I've gained a few pounds since then. I think the laundry the laundry machine shrunk it. So, but these two characters right here are my partners in crime today. Maddie, take a bow. A curtsy. So Maddie is our channel manager for Houston area and really all of South Texas, and she manages DataBox, right? Anything else you want to say? Oh, okay. And Jordan from Austin, just like me, is here as our account executive for Majors, right? That's right. So he'll be the one you want to talk to about any opportunities as well that y'all have for Zoom. How many of y'all have heard of Zoom before? Just the neat guy. Okay, good. So how many of y'all have actually run Zoom before? How many of you have been in a Zoom meeting before? Yes? A few folks? Good. All right. Thank you. Today, we're going to focus on more than just meetings. Now, we know that Zoom Spaces, we know that Zoom Rooms, we know that these things were developed for meetings, but what you probably didn't know is the pace of innovation that Zoom has had. I started at Zoom in 2021. When did you start? 2020. 2020, so you beat me by a year. You got in when the stock price was like $565 a share or something crazy. But right before the or I guess right during the pandemic is where you started. And a lot of us, we learned about Zoom during that time because it became a household name, right? Now, there was a lot of development that took place to the right side of when that occurred. So we really ramped up our development at Zoom in the year 2020. We did some really great things when Jordan and I started. We were doing meetings, we were doing webinars, we were already doing Zoom Rooms, which we'll talk about today. We were doing Zoom Phone. How many of y'all have used Zoom Phone before? Anybody? Well, look at all these opportunities here, man. People need Zoom Phone. Zoom Phone is actually great. It's really, really a nice tool to be able to have in your arsenal. And the reason for it is because it seamlessly integrates with the same client that you already have on your desktop. Or if you are really good, you have the Zoom client already on your mobile device as well, which I love how easy it is to use Zoom Phone from my phone. It makes it really easy. Now, we won't be dwelling on too much on this side today, other than the Zoom Spaces and Zoom Rooms conversation, because I want to focus on more that's on the right side of this, things that have actually been developed here in the last couple of years. And talk about, did y'all know Zoom had a full-scale contact center? Did you know that we have a full email and calendar suite? Yes, you could replace your Gmail. Yes, you could replace your Microsoft 365, your Exchange, with Zoom Mail and Calendar. We're going to talk about workspace reservation today. I'll show you a live demo of what that looks like as well. We'll talk AI Companion. There's a lot of great things that we developed here in the last year or so. We'll also talk about visitor management, because really the theme of today is to talk about AV and office spaces and how we can really enhance those. And so Zoom does a lot from our productivity suite and our workplace suite. And you may have seen some advertising recently with this new term that we are throwing about, Zoom Workplace. What in the world does that mean? Well, we've rebranded it to really reflect what we can do in the Zoom or in your workplace. We're not just a remote, I'm going to work from home today type of company, which is what a lot of folks still think of us as. They think we're just the meetings company, right? So we're not. We're not just meetings. Meetings is one thing. Yes, we do meetings really well. That's where we all started, which is why it's right in the middle of the racetrack. There's a lot more we do. And so today we're going to focus mainly on this spaces area right here, which will include workspace reservation, visitor management, digital signage, and Zoom Rooms. How many of y'all have used Zoom Rooms before? Anyone? Good, we've got some folks here. I love that. So Zoom Rooms, when we talk about it, it really extends that capability that everyone knows us for, the meeting environment, into a physical conference room. That's the basis of it. Because we thought, wouldn't it be great if we could make joining a meeting just as easy as when I pull out my iPhone and it says, John, you have a meeting coming up at 1 o'clock, join meeting. And it turns on my camera, I can see everyone in the meeting, I have my microphone and my speaker, and I'm able to talk to those folks on the meeting just from my iPhone. Wouldn't it be great if we made it that easy in a conference room? And we did, and that's what Zoom Rooms is intended to provide. It gives us the flexibility now to sit down in a conference room and it automatically knows that I'm in that conference room. It knows John Nelms is there. How does it do it? Well, this phone has a microphone. This room has speakers all over it, actually. These speakers are emitting an ultrasonic tone, and it knows because it's listening, and it says, oh, I recognize that tone. I know that that's this conference room, and I know that that phone is John Nelms. So now it automatically logs me in and allows me to start that meeting for the day. Really easy for us to set that up with this proximity detection. And if you go into your Zoom app right now, you can scroll through your settings and enable proximity detection. It's that easy. We'll talk about some of these other things, some of these other great tools here on the wheel today. I'm going to take you through kind of a sample office setup, things that we would love it if you were using in your office environment today. Some of you may be already using some of these things. Things like when you walk into the office, what's the first thing you see? Usually it's a receptionist. We can make this a virtual receptionist. And the way we do this is we can use, why not use a Neat Frame? The folks from Neat are here over here. You see a lot of our certified partners here today. Now it's important to note that we don't actually make any hardware at Zoom. There's a lot of really cool hardware here in this picture. We don't make anything in terms of hardware. We make software that runs on that hardware, and the experience really remains the same on those devices from a Zoom perspective. So the interface that you may see from one manufacturer to the next using Zoom is very similar. We make it similar so there's not much of a learning curve for users to walk up to any device. So a virtual receptionist, if you walk up to the screen, you may see it says, click here or press here to call the receptionist. And we have this demo actually in our, some of you may have seen the demo over in our room just down the hall here on the other side of the elevators. You press the button, you're now connected to your receptionist. So you think about that. You have one receptionist, you have 6 locations. Now that one receptionist is responsible for all 6 of those locations, and they can receive calls face-to-face with anyone coming into the office. Another way that we may actually allow folks to come into the office is maybe we put another button on here to do visitor management, or we have a separate Neat Frame there in that location. You see there's a Neat Frame. Press a button. It allows me to register, put my name in, my email address, my company, and now I'm able to print a badge. I can put a badge printer on that and just print out a badge for the day so that I'm able to walk around the office. We could optionally allow this thing to maybe allow them to sign an NDA in the office as well. Put a questionnaire on there, ask them if they want lunch. Whatever we want to do, we can do with that visitor management, ask them some questions along the way as well. Let's talk about the rest of the office. Behind the reception desk here, we see workspace reservation. I'll show you what that is here in just a moment, but the idea behind it is, I don't actually, have you ever gone into a Zoom office before?
Yeah. Yep, I have. Yeah.
You went into the Denver office? Have you? So it took me probably 2 years before I first went into a Zoom office, and it was actually the one in Kansas City when we had one there. And then I've been to the Denver one as well. So I've only been to 2 Zoom offices. We don't have any in Texas, unfortunately, any offices here, but we're a very remotely connected company, so it doesn't really matter that much. But I will say that when I walked into the office, there was a big, giant TV touchscreen on the wall, much like the Neat board that we have in that room over there. So when I walked up to it, it said workspace reservation. I pressed a button. I had no idea where I was going to sit for the day. So I walked up to it, I pressed a button on it, and it allowed me to book my desk for the day, it allowed me to schedule the phone that was sitting in there in that cubicle that I was going to sit out. It allowed me to allow that phone to log in as me for a range of time while I was sitting at that desk. And I could optionally reserve it for the entire week. It also asked me if I wanted to order lunch. It allowed me to do that directly from our workspace reservation system. And of course, I did order lunch as well. So, but there's a lot of great things that you can do with our hardware partners that allow us to really do some creative in-office type things. We've mentioned Zoom Rooms. Outside that Zoom room is probably going to be a scheduling display. You've seen some scheduling displays outside these rooms here as well. Very similar in the nature that these devices are intended to provide the ability to schedule that room or show calendar availability during a specific time. So you know when a room is occupied, you know when it's reserved, you know when it's available. Very easy for you to go in there and reserve space there as well. Digital signage, another big thing. I want to talk about that a little bit later because digital signage, you think about all the places you see TVs throughout your day. So let's take you through some of these features that we can do today. Smart Gallery. We were showing this a little bit earlier in our room. This gives us the ability to take everyone who's in that meeting room and then kind of combine them into their own little Hollywood Squares style video. This really promotes more togetherness in a hybrid environment. How many of you all have jumped into like a Zoom meeting before with a conference room with a bunch of people in it, and you feel like your head is huge on the screen in their room, but all you see is little ants in the picture? Like if I took a camera right now, if I took my iPhone camera and took a photo, I see just a mass of people, everyone who's in this room with me. What this allows us to do is take each one of our faces and then put them in a Hollywood Squares style video so that I can see a little bit more equitably on the screen as I'm sitting at home, everybody in that room. Another cool way we make this work is using companion Zoom rooms. We're using the camera from both of these devices. And in this case, this is, hey, look, it's the Neat Board again. And so I've got a kind of a wheeled cart here and then one that's sitting on the table. These are both using cameras on each angle, and we're taking the most creative shots for each one of those with those cameras that are on each one of those devices. The other cool thing about this is if you want to use a whiteboard, having a second one of these devices is amazing because now you can draw on it, you can type on it, you can do whatever you want with that second device, all while maintaining the camera on the original one as well. So that is something to keep in mind. Now I mentioned workspace reservation. I love workspace reservation. It's really cool. I walked into the office, I ordered lunch, I did all that good stuff from it. Here's the experience once I actually got to my desk. I just held my iPhone up, and if you've got the Zoom app installed, you can actually follow along here as well. So if I pull out my Zoom app, there's a little section down at the bottom that says scan QR code. Once I hit that, it's looking for a QR code. It'll probably find one on the screen there in a minute. There, that one. And it'll log me into that workspace. So now any resources that are on that table, I think this is a D10 Me here. There's a Polyphone sitting here. Those things you would scan it, it would log you into that device, and now I can use that as my meetings endpoint, or I could use this phone if I wanted to as well. Actually, the phone looks like it's part of the cube next to me over here on the right. So, but if I had one on mine, it would log me in as well. So all of that available. You don't have to go and find third-party solutions for these things. It's just part of the Zoom platform. All right, what else can I do? Well, embedded in the client, in our Zoom client. How many of y'all have downloaded the Zoom client? You have it on your desktop? Just one person? Seriously? All right, 4 people. When you get back to your desktop, please download the Zoom client. If for nothing else, just to have it in case somebody reaches out with you with a chat message. Because I don't know if you knew this, but Zoom chat is free for everybody, and it allows anybody to connect with any other Zoom user on Zoom chat. So if me or Jordan or Maddie wanted to send out a chat, we would easily be able to chat with you, and you can chat with us very easily from your Zoom client. But up at the top, there's navigation. And when I say navigation, it's just the tabs across the top here. And workspaces, whoa, that's wild there. All right, workspaces, notes, team chat, scheduler, contacts. This is how we navigate through it. And the cool thing is, on this, it gives us a floor plan, and then I can go and select which desk or which conference room I want to reserve for that day. And this is, again, through my desktop app, but I want to show y'all live. Let's take a live look at my system in, well, we mentioned Denver. Why not just do Denver? So I'll cast up to my laptop, if I can find it. I may have logged off the Wi-Fi here. Let's see. That is you. Look at that. And try it one more time. Before, when I came in here, it actually showed my laptop as a sharing device. There it is. Okay, so we're mirroring to that. You can see my screen. Go to Zoom, go to Workspaces, and I can select the office space that I want. So right now I'm on floor 2 Denver. You can see we have offices really all around the world here. But I'm just going to say that I want to reserve a desk. I can even use this little robot man, the AI guy. It'll say, hey, you want me to suggest a desk for you? I can see who you've been working with most often. Sure, why not? Suggest a desk. So it'll find, oh, there we go. Found some people that I usually work with, and it allows me to easily book that space for the rest of the day if I want to. I can even get directions. This is cool. So it says option 1 to get there. There's the entrance. There's the way to get there. Walk along there, and then you'll be at your desk. Once I select that desk and I reserve it, I'll show you what it actually says. Let's see here. Grab that desk. Reserve. There we go. Would you like to book lunch with your desk reservation? Yes, of course. Am I planning to host customers? Sure, y'all will all be coming along, right? So submit and reserve, and they'll be able to, they'll hopefully order lunch for all of us. It's still lunchtime there in Denver, kind of. So yeah, it's really easy to set that up on your system. A lot of you may not have known that if you're running Zoom today, you can be utilizing that already as part of your solution. So let me pop out of here, stop mirroring real quick, and go back to our presentation. Let's talk visitor management. Visitor management, I mentioned you can do badge printing where you can actually submit invites to your office directly with visitor management. Every user can get this on your system, and so they can start an invitation, send off an invitation to an end user. It gives them directions how to get to your office, like y'all came here today, parked out there. Maybe you didn't, maybe you parked on the concrete. And then shows you how to get into the office. You get a 6-digit code so you can easily get in and start working in that office with someone who invited you. That is available to all users on the system today if you have the right licensing. So let's talk rooms and the interoperability for a moment, because we fully recognize that we are not the only horse in town. As much as we would love to all use Zoom meetings all the time, has anyone here ever heard of a product called Teams?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. That was the product that was offline this morning. It's free, right? It's just included with my E3 license. It's free like a box of puppies. Here. Yeah, we do integrate with Teams. We play nice. We play nice with others in the sandbox. And you actually notice this here in this screen. So there's Google Meet. It's a little hard to see. Microsoft Teams and WebEx, where I can one-touch access those meetings. We can even read in the calendar for those invites as well, so you can one-touch to join with video and audio. And it's one way of really allowing you to continue to use those other platforms, because we fully recognize you're going to get invites for meetings outside of Zoom. It happens. We work for Zoom and we get meetings for Teams. Not so much WebEx as much as Teams, it seems like, on the occasion. And in those circumstances, it's easy for us to join from a Zoom room. We just simply click the calendar invite and it allows us to join those meetings. And for those devices that are out there that maybe don't necessarily run any specific service, maybe a legacy Cisco device that you want to join in, you can use what we call our conference room connector, which will also allow those older devices to connect up to a Zoom room as well. And a lot of folks choose to do that. We also support PEXIP, and as part of this solution, it really does allow us to get a little bit deeper in the integration. So with our direct guest join experience, what Microsoft limits us to here is there's really no support for an HDMI content share. And then You may see a lot of just blank tiles on the screen as part of your Teams integration. So what you end up seeing with Pexip is a little bit more rich experience. So we can send and receive content with HDMI directly from our Zoom meeting as well. So just keep in mind, there are options. You don't have to, the biggest objection I get with customers that say, we don't want to do a Zoom room because we get meetings outside of Zoom all the time. Don't worry, we support everybody else and we play nice with others. There's some of the really cool features that we've baked into the product, like directional audio. So in a room like this, if you see folks on the screen, maybe there's some folks on the left side of the screen in a meeting and we would see and hear their audio coming from the left side, versus if there was folks on the right side of the screen, we would hear their audio coming from the right side of the screen. So directional audios is possible. We've baked in a new feature with our hardware partners called Intelligent Director. And Intelligent Director basically uses cameras that are placed all over the room to really isolate who is talking in the room. And then we display that on everyone's meeting screen so they can actually see who is speaking nice and tight on their face and not just a giant group of people. And you're like, who is that speaking? I can't see anyone's mouth moving in that meeting. Intelligent Director really makes it look like everybody who's in that room is actually on their own Zoom meeting, sitting in front of their laptop, which is great. All right, so I mentioned digital signage early on. We have another great product to go with digital signage. So I'll back up for a moment, because you think about all the places you see a TV. There's a TV behind y'all, by the way, as well. I don't know if you noticed, but that's the room downstairs below us on the second floor. It looks like mission control there. Everyone wave. Hey, everybody on the second floor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So what digital signage allows us to do, you think about all the TVs. There's TVs out in the lobby. There's TVs. You may walk into a building and you see like a directory with a TV on it. You get on an elevator, sometimes there's a TV. How many of y'all have been in a nice restaurant and they got a TV behind the mirror? Yeah, there's TVs everywhere. Like anywhere you go, there's display devices, and they're cheap, right? Display devices are pretty cheap. So what we've done is we've recognized the value of all of these display devices, and we allow users now to curate a playlist to put on these devices. When I say a playlist, that could be office promotions, pictures, videos, office video promos, commercials. Maybe they want to put team building events on there. Maybe they put schedule of events, agendas. Maybe they want to put, I don't know, maybe they'll put a URL on there of Houston traffic. Maybe there's you go to Houston Transtar and you actually see the traffic on those displays. I've seen people use it for their call centers as well. So you think about it, Zoom Phone rides on the same platform as everything we've been talking about today. Important to note, Zoom does not have these multiple platforms that we've went out and we've built or acquired. We're all one platform. Everything we do that we saw on that wheel earlier, same platform, same basic code, same engineers programming it. And so it lends itself very easily to take, hey, wouldn't it be great if I could use my Zoom Phone call center, where I've got calls coming into my help desk, and then allow those calls to be reflected on a big digital signage display where I could put it up on the TV with metrics and things like that on it. Can we do that? Yes, we can. And yes, we do have a contact center. And yes, we can put those metrics on those digital signage displays. So if you have a call center with a bunch of agents, let's just pretend we're all call center agents here and we've got a big screen here, and then we can put all our dashboard and metrics up there about how we're all doing, stack ranked against each other. We could do that if we wanted to. But what WorkVivo does, WorkVivo is an employee engagement experience that allows us to connect maybe a big giant organization that has offices all over or remote workers all over, that allow them to really feel more connected into the corporate culture. WorkVivo allows us to do that in a couple of different ways. One big one is the social aspect. I can now interact with all my colleagues in more of an informal way with WorkVivo. Another way is through WorkVivo TV. And what we can do is we can stream content maybe from other offices into our TVs within this office. And so have this flexible approach to how we interact with the other employees within our organization. WorkVivo, entirely new can of worms, and we'd love to talk to you more about it. There's so much it can do. besides WorkVivo TV with Zoom Rooms integration and digital signage. There's a lot. There's a whole lot you can do with it. So I want to make sure we move on. I did talk about wayfinding because we saw that where it showed me how to get there. I did see others that were reserved in my workspace reservation area. I saw the other users that were there as well. This is kind of cool where you can pull up a profile card of people sitting next to you. Dynamic layouts. This is cool for those users that, you know, these were formerly like Hollywood squares that were all the same size, like the Brady Bunch up here. But now it's really just the folks that are talking. It makes those pictures and those tiles larger. And the benefit of that is you don't really realize it until you're actually on a call with someone and then it pops up their screen and they're much bigger than everybody else as they start talking. So those things have made their way into the product as well. I want to talk for a moment about smart name tags in Zoom Rooms so we can identify the people in the room based on their faces. You may think, well, why would I need this? Like, especially for just a 4-person conference here. We have rolled out AI into the product. So everybody know what AI is. It's the buzzword of the last 5 years. The Buzz acronym. So AI is here to stay. AI is built in natively to the Zoom platform without any additional charges. We are not charging on a per user basis to use any of our meeting summaries, any of our AI type tools with AI Companion. And I'm going to show you something here. We'll see how it works. I'm a little curious to know how it's going to work because we're in a live demo. But before we started this meeting, I turned on my AI Companion. And I'm going to say, so one of the cool things that I love about it, I just set up a meeting for us all here. And me and Jordan are actually in the meeting right now and our video's turned off. But over here on the right panel, you see where it says meeting questions with AI Companion. It'll catch me up on anything that I may have missed. So it's now 1:33. I've been talking for 34 minutes. How many of you have been in a meeting and somebody joins your meeting 34 minutes late? It happens all the time. Oh, I'm sorry, I was on another call. And then you got to catch them up. What'd y'all talk about for the last, you're like 30 minutes? I mean, we covered a lot of stuff. I talked for a lot up here just a moment ago. So I'm going to press the catch me up button. And we'll see how it works in a live demo, everyone. Let's see how it goes with AI Companion. Look at that.
34 minutes.
Yeah. Introduction to Zoom's expanded capabilities beyond just video meetings. Overview of Zoom Rooms and their features like proximity detection. Discussion of virtual receptionists and visitor management solutions. So I can quickly read through this without stopping the call and saying, hey, everybody, catch me up on what we've done. Because nobody on the call is going to remember what we've done. That's the reality. That's the sad reality. Everyone's going to be like, well, I don't know. John talked a lot about something for a while. So it'll catch me up there. The other cool thing about it is, if you're just one of those people that's like, I want to know if my name was mentioned. I don't really care about the summary. I just want to know what my items are. Let's see. There's no indication that any participants were mentioned. Now, where this may become interesting, where you get these AI summaries, because we're going to summarize this whole meeting at the end of it. It'll generate a summary for us. It'll bullet out anything that are next steps from this meeting. But here's the problem we immediately noticed with this as we started generating meeting summaries. If a meeting room like this joined the meeting, this meeting room is called, anybody? Backwards, but Macallan, right? Just like the Scotch. The meeting room would be the person that did all the talking. Macallan said this. Macallan had these next steps. Macallan committed to send the documents next week. Well, that doesn't make much sense. Macallan, who was in Macallan that day? I don't know. So if we have what we talked about before, which was those smart name tags, then guess what? We can say that Ashley is the one that committed to send that email out. I didn't mean to spit on the screen there. Whoops. Lunch. Sorry. So the idea behind this is once we match it, we can actually summarize all of the information that is presented in that meeting as part of the the end summary, as well as the transcript of that meeting as well. Here's one of the other cool features with Zoom AI. You don't have to record the meeting in order to summarize the meeting. Have you ever been on a call and everyone just freezes up when you find out that the call is being recorded? They're like, hello, everyone. They don't want to say anything because they're afraid that they're on record. And the cool thing about summary is it doesn't record the contents of like what you're saying. It just summarizes the meeting for you, which is great. I love this feature, and I turn it on for all my meetings. That way I can go back and I can just summarize them and see what was said if I need to go back and refer to it. The other great thing about that is now we are preparing you for your future meetings as well. So if I have a recurring meeting, it'll say, well, here's what you talked about the last call. Here's what you said the next steps were. Did you do it for your next meeting? And it'll actually tell you what those steps are in preparation for that. So smart name tags, great. Here's some of those AI features. I mentioned meeting summary. I mentioned meeting questions. Smart recordings. Again, you don't have to record the call, but if you do, it'll chapterize the recording for you. Because if you're like me, when you record a call and somebody sends you an hour-long call, you're not going to watch the hour-long call. At least you're not going to do it at 1x speed. You're going to press 2x and try to. Everyone's going to be talking this fast because everyone's talking at double speed because you're listening back at twice the speed. But I don't even do that. I just go to the part of the call that I care about. No, I didn't care about the introductions. No, I didn't care about the history of Zoom. No, I didn't care about meetings. Oh, but I did care about phones. I'm going to click that button of what they talked about in that section. It'll summarize it for me first. It'll give me a transcript over on the right, and then it'll take me to the exact spot in that meeting and allow me to listen in that particular section. And where it was formerly like an hour-long call I had to listen to, maybe I only listen to 5 minutes now. Just the part that I cared about. I was the reader in high school that always did the Cliff's Notes, by the way. I wasn't the one that read the full book. Which is great for me because these features are amazing. In our Zoom rooms, you can also set up your Zoom phone. Why not? Again, same platform. I go in there, and we can show you this over in the room if you want to see it. Press a button on the screen, brings up your phone dialer. I can call somebody, 10-digit dial. $713 number, and we can summarize that call directly after that call has completed. So we get a summary of that, get next steps out of that call. I can do voicemail tasks for if I've got my own Zoom phone, when people call into my mobile device and it ends up going to voicemail, that I'll get those tasked for me with priorities. And then we can even do SMS. We can text. Hey, there's something Teams can't do. They can't use SMS, not without a third party. So we can text directly from Zoom and then summarize those text threads as well. I mentioned smart suggestions. I mentioned digital signage and the cool stuff we can do with that. But hey, one of those cool things as part of digital signage that I love when you're in a environment where you're using Zoom phone and you're using all the benefits of the Zoom platform, if somebody dials 911 inside the building, wouldn't it be great if the administrators got notified that 911 was dialed? So the first thing you can do is set up E911 to go to a safety team. So I define a list of users within my organization, and this is just, it could be 10, 20 users, doesn't really matter how many. But once they are set up as this, it's hard to read, safety team, they'll get a pop-up on their screen that says, emergency call. 911 was dialed. Here's who dialed it. Here's what time it was. Wow, look at that. 9/12/2020. That screenshot was taken 4 years ago today at 1:24 in the morning. Interesting. I don't know why I found that so interesting. I've been using this deck for 4 years, and it's always on my birthday. Now, once I get this pop-up, I get this dialogue that says, do you want to display this message on any digital signage displays? And I say, yes, and I can type in whatever I want. And then maybe it's a fire. I say, there's a fire on floor 5, please evacuate orderly. I can display this on all those devices that are scattered throughout the floor or out the building or throughout the department, directly on those digital signage displays. There's no extra charge for this. You get this feature. It's baked into the platform. This is one of the benefits of having a single platform that does all of these things. It's great. I mentioned that proximity detection that you can use on your desktop today. This is what it looks like. If you click that button up there at the top of your desktop, when you get back to your desktop and you look up there and you see that thing, you're like, what is that? It's Pair with a Zoom Room. It'll proximity detect when you're in a Zoom room. So I walked in here with my laptop and I sat down. I don't have to try to figure out what the meeting ID was and try to dial that in on the screen. I just click that button and it says, you want to start the meeting here? I say, yes. It automatically joins my meeting directly from my client on the big screen. So with that, I would love to answer your questions. And if you don't have any questions, you're free to get out of here. But we could show one really cool thing. You want to show one more thing? All right. Does anyone here does anyone speak another language other than English? Anyone? Would you be our volunteer? What language do you speak? Arabic. It should be good. I don't know if Arabic's one of the. I think it is.
The first one.
It's the first one. It's in alphabetical order, of course. Yes. So he's on the meeting right now. Why don't y'all step outside and you speak Arabic into his laptop, and I want to see it translate what you're saying to English, because I don't speak Arabic. Anyone here else speak Arabic? So no one else can keep you honest, because... All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up my desktop. And speaking English. All right, so he's got to unmute. Hopefully he'll unmute for us.
Wow. Since none of us speak Arabic, we're not going to translate.
So I'll,
She's going to speak Arabic. We'll see what it says. We're ready. We're translating. Tell her to say something in Arabic. A long sentence, maybe. Honey, the question is your news today. Honey? Speak longer. Keep talking. Keep talking about something. Eat today, yes.
You can see where it's translated.
عملت ايه بعد الغداء النهارده؟
Yep.
هسافر امتى؟
I think it's loud.
طيارة الساعة كام؟
She's not talking long enough. Yeah, maybe Arabic's not the best one. All right, y'all come back in. Yeah, it's we're getting bits and pieces of it, and I think that yeah, it was just getting small pieces of it. I think as you're sitting at your desk, it may be a little bit better, but yeah. Anyone else want to try any other languages while we're at it? Anyone else want to be on the hot seat? All right. Thank you for participating. We appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. With that, everyone, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate y'all's support here and hanging out with us and listening and learning about Zoom today.